Hello students, welcome to Sarat Chandra IAS Academy. This is Srikanth, History Faculty in Academy. The purpose of this session is to discuss about the UPSC 2026 history questions in the prelims. Okay, so before going to discuss about the history questions, I want to discuss about few important points with respect to the prelims paper. First of all, no doubt, without any second thought, it is the most difficult paper for the past 10 years. And the point here is, this is not my opinion. By taking the reviews as well as the responses from the aspirants, as well as from the faculty of fraternity, you can say that this is the most difficult paper. Okay. So UPSC, I always told to my students, when you are preparing for the UPSC, please be prepared for the shocks and surprises. Your preparation should be in the 360-degree angle. Then only you cannot be a shock and surprises in the examination hall. How, I mean to say, UPSC adopted different strategies in order to make the paper difficult. First thing is, how the paper is difficult is, first of all, they made the paper very lengthy. Nowhere in the past 10 years, the question paper crossed 48 pages. But this year, the question paper pages consisting 56 pages. It shows the lengthy nature of the question paper. And next thing is, in order to make the question lengthy, I need to say, in order to make the questions difficult, they made the questions very lengthy. Some questions even covering the more than one page. Okay, complete one page they are covering, few questions. And of course, making questions very lengthy, automatically the paper will be lengthy. But my point here is, just like every year, the UPSC will come with the new strategy by asking the question paper, by asking the few questions in a different manner. I'm going to say, applying the very innovative methods. This year, what they did is, they're giving the questions as well as the statements for that question and not asking you to which is the right statement and which is the wrong statement. By giving the statements, again they are giving the statements. From that giving the statement, they are asking you which are the references, which are the indication of the above statements. So the question is making you to consume your valuable time and make you panic, to frighten you. So the examiner is very clear about it. That means to frighten you, to make you panic, he made the question very lengthy. So that is what this year for the first time UPSC adopted a new strategy. They are giving the question and giving the question, again giving the statements, and they are not asking you which is the right statement, which is the wrong statement. After giving the statement for this question, again giving the statement, which is the possible references you can make from the above statements and which is the possible indication of the above statements. So that is what the question is very lengthy. Okay, and making it very tricky. Okay, and next thing is the third method which is adopted with the UPSC is, this year many questions, major questions came from the unconventional sources, not authenticated reliable sources. They are chosen very diversified sources, which is not at all possible for a normal, a UPSC aspirant. Okay, they went to very wide, wide extremes of the sources. From that sources, they pick up the questions. So obviously, the standard sources, the reliable sources, authenticated sources became helpless for the aspirants. And next thing is, I can say, they maintain the both extremes. Some questions are very direct, and from the direct questions from the textbooks, and majority questions are even they are given went to very extreme level, maintained very difficulty level. So following these very different methods, making the paper very lengthy by bringing the innovative method to make the question very tricky. And the third method is using the unconventional sources. And the last one is using the wide extremes of major questions, making the paper very difficult. So I can say, when it comes to the cutoff marks, definitely I can say it will go around. Last year, 2025, the cutoff marks is 92.6, but this year it may go up to, 82 plus or minus 2. 82 plus or minus 2. Some people, yes, I agree, some faculty, they are comparing this paper to the 2023 question paper. But my point here is, this question paper is somewhat difficult than the 2023 question paper. Yes, if you ask me the yardstick of, easy, moderate and difficult, I can definitely put this paper into the difficulty level. Okay, so my point here is, so the people who are very confident enough, please, without wasting your valuable time, go with the test series for the mains preparation. and revise your optional especially, and majorly focus on the essay as well as the ethics. Okay, and the people who are actually I mean to say they are in a confusion whether the prelims will be cleared or not. Don't worry, because the cutoff will be the very low this year. I mean to say for the past 10 years this will be the lower cutoff. You can trust me. I mean to say it is not. Some people they are comparing. I just now said that it is 2023 comparable paper, but not at all. More than 2023 question paper. It is a difficult paper. I mean to say this question paper cutoff will be around 82, 83 plus or minus 2. Okay, so that's what. So that is what. Let's get into the details of the history question paper. When it comes to the history question paper, first of all, history question paper, I mean to say they are asked, they given the very high weightage for this year. Okay, almost 21 questions are come from the history. Okay, according to me, if you are solving very much sound knowledge in the history as well as in science and technology or in the current affairs, easily you can crack the prelims. Don't worry. I mean to say without any doubt. Okay, just having the sound knowledge in the history as well as in the current affairs or few knowledge in the science and technology, and this prelims will be a cakewalk to you, no doubt. So that is what the not judiciary allocation of the questions will be given. Polity given very less questions, around 8 questions. I mean, it is highest weightage were given to the current affairs, more than 33 questions were given. And history, for the past 5 years, this is the highest marks. This is the highest questions they are given. Almost 21 questions they covered. Almost 21 questions they covered. And within the 21 questions, ancient consisting about 9 questions. Ancient Indian history consisting the 9 questions. And there is no, very interestingly, there is no question from the medieval India. Yes, some people they are interpreting one question from the medieval Indian history, but I can put that question into the art and culture. Okay, so 9 questions from the ancient Indian history, no question from the medieval Indian history, and when it comes to the modern Indian history, 5 questions they given from the modern Indian history question. The very favorite of UPSC is actually the national movement, but only one question is covered from the national movement, and the remaining questions are giving the peripheral issues they covered. Okay, that is the reason the question paper make it difficult. And next thing is from the art and culture, 7 questions they given. So total 21 questions they given. Okay, so within the 21 questions, here only we are discussing about the 20 question. One question which is having the ambiguity whether it comes to the economy, whether it is you have to discuss in the history. That question was actually discussed by the economy faculty. Okay, so in this session we are covering the 20 questions only. That is very clear. Okay, so the purpose of this session, I want to repeat it once again. The point here is the most possible answers we are trying to explain here. Okay, ultimately you have to rely on the final key of the UPSC only. This purpose of the session is what is the most possible answers for this UPSC Prelims 2026 history questions. Okay, so when it comes to the history question, what is the standard they maintained is the questions maintained in very lengthy, and they asked from the unconventional sources, not at all maintaining any standards from the NCERTs as well as the standard sources. Okay, and they maintained both level. I mean to say few questions are given from the standard sources, few questions. I mean to say just 2 or 3 questions are asked directly, and the majority of the questions they are given from the wide extremes, from the, I mean to say unconventional sources. Unconventional sources. Okay, so that's what. So let's, without wasting your valuable time, let's discuss about the question paper of the history of 2026. So the first question, I told you there are 9 questions exclusively from the ancient Indian history, and no question from the medieval India, and 5 questions from the modern Indian history, whereas 7 questions from the art and culture. Okay, so that is what. First we will discuss about in a sequence about the ancient Indian history, next one after the medieval Indian history, and after that the, I mean to say, modern Indian history, after that art and culture. Okay, we will go in a sequence, so that it will give you a big clarity to you. So the first question, consider the following assertion. In the Pleistocene period, either the Yamuna once flowed into the Indus or the Satluj flowed into the Yamuna, and one major tributary of either had shifted from the Ganga to the Indus or vice versa. Okay, if you understand the question is, to be precise, straight to the point, they are asking about the in the Pleistocene period, the Ganga one tributary or the Indus one tributary may be shifted their course. The Indus tributary come to the Ganga tributary, or the Ganga tributary must be shifted to the Indus tributary. That is what actually the crux of the question. That is what actually the crux of the question. So in the Pleistocene period. So that is what, either the Ganga tributary was merged with, I mean to say it is diverted towards the Indus river, or the Indus river tributary, Indus tributary is diverted towards the Ganga tributary. Okay, so that is what the question. So he is asking which of the following statements the question is supported. I mean to say which of the following statements are actually supporting the question. Okay, so supporting the statements. Okay, the first one, the Nadi Sukta of the Rigveda. The Nadi Sukta of the Rigveda. So this is absolutely not agreed statement. So Rigveda is discussing about majorly about the early Vedic life, about the society, about the economy, about the even the Nadi system. But what kind of Nadi system? Only Sapta Sindhu hypothesis, only Sapta Sindhu rivers were discussed. Because don't confuse that Rigveda is composed in the northwestern part of India, which is nothing but the Sapta Sindhu region only. So Rigveda composed in the Sapta Sindhu region. So obviously it is discussing about only Sapta Sindhu rivers only. But here the question is also asking about the Indus river. Rigveda never mentioned about the Indus river system. Even though Ganga, Yamuna mentioned in the Rigveda, it is in the later course of action that rivers were added. So Rigveda composed in the Sapta Sindhu rivers of Sapta Sindhu region, which is discussing about the Sapta Sindhu rivers only. So obviously, and next thing is Rigveda composed in which period? This Nadi Sukta is nothing about Rigveda discussing about the rivers. Nadi is the Sanskrit term for the river. Sukta means hymns. Okay, river hymns. So Nadi is the Sanskrit word for the river, whereas Sukta means hymns. So point here is this Rigveda, Nadi Sukta talking about the rivers, no doubt. But point here is what? Rigveda composed in which period? Rigveda composed in Vedic civilization, which is the time period maybe 1500 to 600 BC. 1500 BC to 600 BC is the Vedic civilization period. In this Vedic civilization period, the Rigveda was composed. But this Rigveda, which is composed in the Vedic civilization period, does it mentioning about the Pleistocene period? Absolutely not. It is how it discusses. It may be discussing about the Sapta Sindhu region, Sapta Sindhu rivers, about the rivers, about their origin and all, but not discussing about the Pleistocene period, Pleistocene period river system. Absolutely not. Because it is belongs to the Vedic civilization period. The question is asking about the Pleistocene period. So that is what you can easily eliminate the option. You can easily eliminate the option. And next thing is what? The exploration of the Sutlej and Yamuna by Robert Bruce of Foote. I told you in the class, Robert Bruce of Foote is known as father of Indian prehistoric culture. He is the first person who discovered the prehistoric site known as Pallavaram, located in Tamil Nadu. His major contribution for the prehistoric excavation is majorly confined to the South India only. That too, very extremes of South India. Majorly his work was confined to the Tamil Nadu region. Kanyakumari, Tamil Nadu, especially Kerala region. So Robert Bruce of Foote is a prehistoric culture archaeologist, and more importantly what? He is discussing about the prehistoric cultures. And that too, this, I mean to say, this Pleistocene, all this Yamuna river, I mean to say the Indus river system is restricted to northwest part of India. And this person research is confined to the extreme southern part of India, the South India. So obviously this is not at all possible. The Robert Bruce of Foote discussing about the Pleistocene period of Indus river system as well as the Ganga river system, because he is known as the, I told you in the class, he is known as father of Indian prehistoric culture. He is the first person who discovered the Pallavaram site located in Tamil Nadu. His work is majorly contributed in the southern India only. So that's how you can eliminate the answer. Remember one thing in the UPSC, always after studying the question, don't go for the answer. Please go for the elimination process. You can deduce the answer. That is what the best possible way in order to not getting into the negative marks. Okay. So that is what, obviously, if you eliminate the first option as well as the second option as well as the first and second option, obviously what is the answer? The third one. What is it? The presence of the same species of the dolphins in both Indus and the Ganga river system. What does it mean? I mean to say, if you remember 2 years back, the Punjab government conducted the census of Indus river dolphins. Indus river dolphins. Indus river dolphin is the state aquatic animal of Punjab. Okay, so 2 years back they conducted the Indus river dolphin census, and this year they want to actually make up the Indus river dolphin genetic makeup as well as the Ganga river dolphin genetic makeup. So they want to construct a genetic makeup of these both aquatic animals, and that is the reason it is in the limelight. The question was asked. If you see, actually, if you are very familiar with the third option, you can directly answer this question without depending upon the history knowledge. Okay, so that's what the most possible answer is the third one, the presence of the same species of the dolphins in both Indus and Ganga river system. As Ganga and its tributaries known for the Ganga dolphin, the same kind of Ganga dolphin with a subspecies was actually present in the Indus basin. Okay, especially in the Bias river of India. Okay, so that is what the third one is the most possible answer. Let's go to the second question. The second question, what does an empty seat represent in the early Buddhist iconography? Early Buddhist iconography, nothing, what it talks about? It is talking about nothing but the early Buddhist sect, Theravada Buddhism, also known as Hinayana Buddhism. That is what he is asking about the iconography. What is iconography? Nothing but worshipping Buddha in symbolic form. So how Theravada Buddhism, Hinayana Buddhism worship Buddha? They worship Buddha in symbolic form only. That is what, the Pancha Maha Kalyana event of life of Buddha. What is that? Birth of Buddha, indicated with the symbol lotus and bull. The Mahabhinishkaramana, nothing but the renunciation of the Buddha from the Kapilavastu place, which is indicated with the symbol horse. Sambodhi, enlightenment of Buddha, which is indicated with the symbol with the peepal tree under a empty throne. This is what the direct question from our notes. This is what the direct question from directly from the notes. This is not a tricky one. It is a direct question, that too from the main sources only. The third one, the Sambodhi, is nothing but the enlightenment of the Buddha, which is indicated with the peepal tree, nothing but the Bodhi tree, also known as fig tree. So, with a peepal tree under an empty throne, where he got indication of enlightenment, which is indicating the Buddha got enlightenment. So, that is what he directly asked. That is nothing but what? Meditation of the Buddha. That is nothing but he is asking about the meditation of the Buddha. Direct question. So, what is Buddha first sermon? That is what? The fourth one. After the first one, Bharta Buddha indicated with the symbol lotus as well as bull. The second one, Mahabhinishkaramana indicated with the symbol horse. The third one, Sambodhi indicated with the symbol peepal tree, lotus tree, Bodhi tree with the empty throne. And the fourth one is Dharma Chakra Parivartana, which is indicated with the chakra with the 8 spokes. The first sermon of the Buddha. The first sermon of the Buddha. The first sermon of the Buddha. And next one is what? Mahaparinirvana. Nothing but what? Mahaparinirvana. That is what? The death of Buddha, indicated with the symbol stupa. Okay, and the next one, Mahabhinishkaramana. I told you that Mahabhinishkaramana is nothing but what? Renunciation. So that is what the question is directly asking about. I mean to say, what is this empty throne is indicating? What is the empty throne indicating? It is nothing but the meditation of the Buddha. A direct question from the reliable sources only. Okay, nothing but the symbolic form of worshipping of Buddha asked. One of the Pancha Maha Kalyana event indication was asked. Symbolic form is asked in the question. Next thing is the third one. Which of the following pairs of ancient and modern names of the rivers are correctly matched? I told you in the last year the question given with respect to the Mahajanapadas, showed us a Mahajanapadas rivers, showed us a Mahajanapadas capitals were given, and they given the ancient names as well as the rivers names there. In the past few years, if you observe the past 4 years pattern of the UPSC in the prelims asking about the history, they are interconnecting the history with the geography. No doubt, they are interconnecting the history with the geography. The last year question is, showed us a Mahajana capitals located on which river they asked. And this river they asked about what is the ancient name of the river. These are the present names, what are the ancient names. This is clearly discussed in the class. That is what? Sapta Sindhu hypothesis, which is proposed by the A.C. Das, Dr. Sampurnananda and Dr. Triveda. I clearly told, nowadays the UPSC is asking about the ancient names about the present modern rivers as well as the present modern cities ancient name they are asking. Okay, so this is what? The Sapta Sindhu rivers ancient names were mentioned in this is also from the Rigveda question only. Because Rigveda composed in the southwest, northwest part of India. The Rigveda composed in the northwest part of India. Northwest part of India consisting about which river system? Indus Basin only. Sapta Sindhu rivers. The Sapta Sindhu rivers ancient names of Rigveda was mentioned. So that is what? So direct question. Chenab is nothing but the Asikini, and the Jhelum is nothing but the Vitas. Bias is nothing but the Vipasa. Bias is the ancient name of Bias mentioned in the Rigveda is Vipasa. This is what? Only one thing is Ravi is known as Parushini. Ravi is known as Parushini and Jhelum is known as Vitastha. Chenab is known as Askini. So only one statement is correct. That is what? Only 3-1 is right. Only third one. That is the Ravi ancient name in Rigveda is known as Parushini, whereas Bias is known as Vipasa, Jhelum is known as Vitastha, Chenab is known as Askini. Direct question. Next question is, which of the following statements on the Amaravati Stupa and its relief sculptures are correct? So question is asking about the Amaravati Stupa. It was located in the lower Krishna Valley. Of course, it is located in the lower Krishna Valley because Amaravati, also known as Dhanya Kataka, also known as Dharanikota, the last capital of the Shatavahanas. Okay, it is located in the lower Krishna Valley. That too on the right bank it is located. Next one, India, it was next only to the Sanchi Stupa in size. Okay, so this is not it is not accepted because the Sanchi, more than Sanchi Stupa, Amaravati original Stupa is very bigger than the Sanchi Stupa. The original Amaravati Stupa was actually lost. So whatever the present Stupa existed in the present Amaravati was actually rebuilt in model. Okay, it is a renovated model. So point here is the the Amaravati, based on the remnants of the Amaravati Stupa, if you see the diameter of the Amaravati Stupa, it is more than the Sanchi Stupa. Okay, so Sanchi Stupa, which is surviving now, considered the largest Stupa in India. But the point here is, according to the original Amaravati Stupa, which is very bigger than the Sanchi Stupa. According to the measuring the diameter of the Sanchi Stupa, you can assess the, the Amaravati Stupa is larger than the Sanchi Stupa. So this second statement is not agreed. So that is what second statement is agreed, and the first statement is absolutely right. Next one, the Amaravati School of Sculpture made a lasting impact on the later South Indian sculpture, and its products were carried to Sri Lanka and Southeast Asia. Okay, I told you the Gandhara School of Art spread to Central Asia, and next thing is the Amaravati School of Art spread to Southeast Asia. The kind of statement is direct because it is carried in about the Southeast Asia and Sri Lanka. Okay, so the closest, I mean to say the South India is very close to Southeast Asia as well as the Sri Lanka. So this kind of Amaravati School of Art was spread to those sculptures are actually those sculptures making, those actually art of making the Buddhas was actually spread to Southeast Asia. Nothing but the Amaravati School of Art was spread to Southeast Asia and Sri Lanka. So the third statement is also correct. So that is what you have to eliminate the second option. If you eliminate the second option, only 1 and 3 is left. Only 1 and 3 is left. Okay, so that is what. Next one, the fifth one, which are the following traits of the king and his dynasty in the early historical Tamilikan not correctly matched. Nothing about the Sangam age. The question is asking about the Sangam age. Chola, Pandya, Chera kingdoms. This is also a direct question from the political history. I told you nowadays history UPSC, which is once upon a time least concerned about the political history. For the past few years, they are also focusing about the political history. So Chola, Pandya, Chera, popular kingdoms they are asking. Okay. So point here is the Chera. The Chera popular ruler is Senguttavan. The Chera popular ruler is Senguttavan. And the Chola. So next one, Pandyan popular ruler is Nedunjilyan. These four statements are correct. Chola, I mean to say the Chera popular ruler is Senguttavan. Pandyan popular ruler is Nedunjilyan. And whereas Udayanjari belongs to Chera, not Chola. He belongs to Chera, not Chola. Next one, which are the following factors contributed to the formation of the forward bloc by the Subhash Chandra Bose in 1939? A modern Indian history question. Maybe they skipped the question. They come into the modern India. So, which are the following factors contributed to the formation of forward bloc by Subhash Chandra Bose in 1939? Okay, what made Subhash Chandra Bose to started a socialist party known as forward bloc? Okay, in 1939. So, what are the reasons for the establishment or for the foundation of the forward bloc by the Subhash Chandra Bose in India? So, he is asking so what are the possible reasons? The first one is Bose failure to win the confidence of Mahatma Gandhi. I told you in 1938 Haripura session, the emergence of conflict between Gandhi and Bose was emerged. Next thing is what? In 1939 Tripura session, the gulf was further widened. Okay, Gandhi don't want a socialist leader should lead the Congress party. Okay, so that is what, this is the correct statement. So Bose failure to win the confidence of the Mahatma Gandhi. Next one, the Congress left was disunited and failed to support Bose. So the Congress left was disunited and failed to support the Bose. Okay. Next thing is, the communists did not support Bose in his endeavors. No, communists always supported. The Congress left was disunited and failed to support the Bose, and the communists did not support Bose in his endeavors. I mean to say, the communists did not support Bose endeavors. No, this is absolutely wrong. Because the communists supported Bose. The communists always backed Subhash Chandra Bose. So, and the second statement is absolutely right. Because what? The Congress left was disunited and failed to support the Bose. Congress itself consisted a wing within the Congress party known as Congress Socialist Party. So, the Congress left was disunited and failed to support the Bose. Okay, this is also correct statement because they don't want to, I mean to say, by supporting the Bose, they don't want to, gulf within the Congress party, and that is the reason the second statement is right. And the third statement is what the communists always supported the Bose. But here the statement is saying communists did not support the Bose in his endeavors. No, they are always supported. And next thing is what the supporters of M. N. Roy and socialist leaders like Jayaprakash Narayan preferred Congress unity to supporting the Bose, obviously. Because during this time, the national movement was at its peak. They don't want any kind of dissolution of the national movement, and that is the reason they absolutely preferred the Congress party unity rather to supporting the Bose. So that's what, if you eliminate the third option, that is what 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4 statements are correct. The first statement is correct. The second statement absolutely correct because the Congress left was disunited and failed to support the Bose. And the fourth statement is also correct, except the third statement, remaining statements are correct. Okay. The question is very tricky because he get into the details of the subject. Okay. Next one, consider the following statements regarding the British policy in Awadh immediately after his annexation in 1856. Always we study about the British conquest of India, what are the policies they implemented, what are the reasons for the annexation of the Awadh. So Dalhousie popularly he used the misgovernance as a pretext to annex the Awadh. So that is what all these things we discussed. What are the reasons for the conquest, how the Awadh was conquered. This is what we majorly studied. But what he is asking is, after conquering the Awadh, what are the methods they adopted? How the revenue was decided by the British. So this is what the question. So point here is, the Talukadars were disposed of their estates but allowed to retain their arms and efforts. Absolutely wrong. Because Britishers are always insecure about Indians. They don't want any threat to their existence in India. They always taken India seriously rather than the Portuguese, rather than the Dutch, rather than the French. They always don't want to lose India at any cost. So never ever given any support for the people of India to maintain their arms and force. This is absolutely rejected. Next one, a summary revenue settlement was made in 1856 assuming the Talukadars were outsiders. Absolutely right, because the main intention of the British is what? To loot the wealth of India. How the British used the policy, the Dalhousie used the policy of misgovernance to conquer Awadh, because Awadh was known for the fertile soils. Awadh was known for the rich revenue from the agriculture. So he won that money. And that is the reason, even though Awadh not suited for the doctrine of land, that is the reason he innovated the misgovernance policy to conquer Awadh. Why? Because to get the revenue. So that is what, even though Talukadars are there as they are Indians, they sidelined and they established their own settlements. That is what the second one is read. Next, third one, the British believed in taking revenue directly from the peasants by removing the Talukadars. They don't want the Talukadars, which was maintained by the Wajid Ali Shah of the Awadh. Okay, so the Talukadars are nothing but maintaining their lands, maintaining army, maintaining their forts and all. At any point of time, they may be the threat to the British existence. That is the reason they don't want to continue the Talukadars. The main intention of the conquest of Awadh is to remove the Talukadars. They don't want any presence of the Talukadars. If you take the Talukadars not presence in the Awadh region, definitely the second and the third statements will be supported. So that is what the answer is. Yes, second and third statements, not at all. Anywhere you take, Britishers never allowed a people to maintain the arms and forts. As at some point of time, they may thought that it may be threat to their existence. That is the reason first option automatically you can eliminate. So you can go with the 2 and 3 options where the Talukadars essence is not at all, not at all, needed by the British. Okay. Next one. The 8th one, consider the following assertion. The genesis of political alliances based on community lay in the very nature of the mounting change for reforms of 1919. Which of the following statements supports the above assertion? So nothing but the 1909 is for the first time, the 1909 Government of India Act first time introduced the separate electorates to the Muslims, and the separate electorates to different communities was again extended in the 1919 mounting change for reforms. So that is what actually the question is asking about, based on that reforms retained and extended the principle of separate electorates. Yes, the separate electorates were extended to some other communities which are actually given in the 1909 only to the Muslims. Okay, now in 1909 they extended the separate electorate to the different religious communities. Next one, the separate electorates were supposed to counter Indian nationalism, which was growing stronger. Always this will be the most possible answer for any question. British always was, when the national movements was they did speak, they always came with a new formula in order to pacify the Indians to dissolve the national movement. In order to dissolve the national movement, always Britishers will come up with a new policy just to temporarily pacify the Indians. That is what one method. By giving the separate electorates to some other communities, the national movement definitely will be dissolved according to the Britishers. That is what they extended the separate electorates to the other religious communities other than the Muslims in 1919. So that is what the second statement is also right. The third statement, deprived classes rallied around the favors inherent in separate electorates. So this is what kind of sweeping statements. He's directly giving the complete deprived classes. So the downtrodden sections, especially the deprived classes, okay, rallied around the favors inherent in separate electorates. This is also correct one. But the point here is, Ambedkar is obviously, rallied against around the in favors of inferiority. If it is Ambedkar, it is okay. But we cannot confine the other depressed classes who are rallied around in favor of inherent separate electorates. You can't say. But taking it the granted and the deprived classes, if you confine to the majority sections of, especially the unprivileged classes, it can be a correct. It can be also considered as the wrong. So my point of view, the most possible answer for this is 1, 2, 3. Because the deprived classes, he is directly giving all the deprived classes he is mentioning. So some deprived classes, especially headed by the Ambedkar, who actually rallied around the favors inherent in separate electorates. That is also absolutely right if it is Ambedkar. But the point here is, he is asking about the complete deprived classes. So this is also to certain extent, it is also possible answer. But don't, I told you right, so you must rely majorly on the UPSC key finally. Okay. So now the most possible answer is the D, 1, 2, 3. The D, 1, 2, 3. Next one. Ninth one. Pandit Mallikarjuna Mansur, the famous classical singer from Pandit Mallikarjuna Mansur, the famous classical singer from Karnataka, represented the. Okay, this is very too drastic question. He went to very great extent to make the paper difficult. His main intention is not to answer this question. Even the people who are actually mastered in a kind of music, even those people also don't answer this question. But of course, I told you in the class, this person is in the limelight this year because there is a cultural center. I mean to say Mallikarjuna Mansur Cultural Center located in the Hyderabad region of Karnataka. And what is actually the conflict is, the cultural department asked for the certain funds and the state government allocated very less fund. And the cultural center demanded more funds for the, for the improvement of the cultural center, Dharwad Stadium, but the state government is somewhat given very harsh reply. So the issue was in the limelight about this personality, Mallikarjuna Mansur, who is from Karnataka. He is from Karnataka and that too a classical singer. So, but there are many Gharanas, Agra Gharana, Gwalior Gharana, Patiala Gharana, Kirana Gharana, Bendi Bazar Gharana. Okay, but most possibly this Mallikarjuna Mansur belongs to Jaipur Athrauli Gharana. He is in the limelight. In the Karnataka government, I told you because of the cultural center of Dharwad, the cultural center asked for the certain funds and state government is replied in a harsh way. And that is the reason Mallikarjuna Mansur is in the limelight recently, especially in 2026 only. So that may be the reason for the UPSC to ask this kind of question. But of course, went into the very details about what kind of Gharana. And within the Khayal, there is a Gharana. Khayal is also known as Bandish, right? So within the Khayal Bandish, there are many kinds of Gharana. So it is the Mallikarjuna Mansur particularly belongs to Jaipur Athrauli Gharana. I told you right, some questions can be answered by a optional student only. That is what some questions in the history, they went to very vast extent, very deep into the subject. That cannot be possible for a normal UPSC aspirant. Okay, it can be answered by a UPSC option student only. Okay, so that is what, when you are feeling unsafe, my sincere advice is just not to touch the question. Obviously, right, when you are feeling unsafe, what you will do? Obviously, without taking any risk, you will left that place. So please do the same thing to these kind of questions. Okay, the best thing is leaving the question only. Okay, so that what are the positive questions you did for the marks, it will not get into the negative marks. Okay, so that's what. So very extreme question. Okay, even though if you are not answered, it is okay. It is acceptable. It is more about the optional question. Okay. Next one, the 10th question. The 10th question, in which one among the following texts does the term Kshetra Patni, mistress of the field, originate? Okay, this is also a optional kind of, optional student can answer, a history optional student can answer this question. Very deep into the subject. General studies question not came in a general studies manner. 4-5 questions were given in such a manner that they are literally get into the deep of the subject. A history option student can be find it difficult in order to answer the question. Okay, so that's what. So let's come into the Kshetrapati mentioned in Rigveda, but the point here is asking about the Kshetrapatni. So Ashtadhyayi obviously discussing about the grammar. We will go with the elimination. Ashtadhyayi, the first grammar book in India, the first secular text in India. So it is discussing about the grammar, not at all. Arthashastra discussing about what? Administration. Arthashastra discussing about the administration, and Ashtadhyayi discussing about the grammar. Ashtadhyayi is the first secular text in India, first grammar text in India. When it comes to the Rigveda, yes, Rigveda discussing about the society, Atharva Veda discussing about the diseases and evils, and particularly mentioning about mistress of the field, mistress of the agriculture field. So this is the term particularly mentioned in the Atharva Veda. This is, I mean to say, definitely these two can be eliminated. Of course, yes, it is very difficult to eliminate these two options. So the Rigveda, Kshetra Pati is mentioned, whereas the Kshetra Patni word is mentioned in Atharva Veda. Okay, let's go with the UPSC key, what they will give you the answer. Okay, please rely on it. Okay, next one, which one of the following Carnatic music ragas is similar to Raga Bilwal in Hindustani music? They are not asking what is Raga Bilwal music he belongs to. Raga Bilwal music is similar to which kind of music? So this is what very deepest question in the art and culture, and that too a optional student is also found it very difficult. The main intention of the examiner is just to not answer the question, to make you panic, to make you frightened. So the best possible, if you are not having any idea about such kind of questions, please leave such kind of questions. Don't make your right answers into wrong way by getting into the negatives. Okay, so this is what very getting to the deepening of the subject. Of course, being a history option student, I know that these are Dhira Shankarabaram. Shankarabarana Raga is there. Shankarabarana Raga. Okay, the national anthem Janaganamana is actually composed in which Raga? Shankarabarana Raga only. So the Raga Bilwal composed ragas which is belongs to Karnataka music Raga, and within the Karnataka music Raga, Raga Bilwal Hindustani music is very similar to Dhira Shankarabarana. Okay, so very deepest kind of art and culture question. Of course, and very interestingly, this is not at all in the limelight. At least Mallikarjuna Mansur is in the limelight, but this personality is not in the limelight. But we don't know what are the reasons to ask such kind of question is just to make you panic, just to frighten you. Okay, so that what your presence of mind will be lost and it will be effect on some other questions. Okay, so that's what. Next thing. So the answer is Dhira Shankarabarana. And the remaining are not answers. The answer is Dhira Shankarabarana, where Raja Bilwal Hindustani music is similar to this composition. Next one. The 12th one, consider the following statements. The polytext contain the first definite references to coins. Example, Kahapana, Nikka, Kamsa, Kakanika. Kahapana means what? Kahapana is a Pali word. Karshapana, Sanskrit word. Nikka, Pali word. Niksha, Sanskrit word. So don't confuse. They are the polytext. So mentioning about the Kahapana. Kahapana is nothing but what? Karshapana. Kahapana is nothing but the Karshapana. Next one is Nikka means what? Niksha. Nikka means Niksha, which we discussed in the class. So point here is, so these terms were mentioned in the polytext. Next thing is what? Literary evidences from the polytext is corroborated by the archaeological evidence of Panch-Markov coins from many sites. Most of them made of silver. Definitely a direct question. Okay. the age of Buddha we have discussed very detailedly in the class. The age of Buddha where the first appearance of the script. All the Buddhist texts were composed in the Pali language only. Age of Buddha is the period where the first text, the first script was appeared. That is the Brahmi script. The Brahmi script first appeared in the age of Buddha. So age of Buddha period is known for the Pali language. Majorly Buddhist texts were composed in which language? Pali language. So that Pali language, which is the first text about the script, obviously mentioning about the first coins of India. What are the first coins of India? Punch marked coins are the first coins of India. Nothing but the also known as Ahat coins. So the punch marked coins are mentioned in what? Obviously the first text of India. Nothing but the Pali text only. Nothing but the Pali text. The age of Buddha is known for the Pali text. The Buddhist major compilation religious literature was took place in which language? Pali language only. So that Pali language, the age of Buddha, which is the first evidence of the punch marked coins, mentioned in which text? Nothing but the Pali text only. The direct question. No need to confuse. Next thing is what I told you. The punch marked coins are made up of silver. Always they try to make you. Okay, this is many times I mentioned in the class. Many times the question they will made up of gold and silver. Now they are made up of silver and copper. They majorly made up of the silver and minorly made up of copper. Not at all usage of the gold. Okay, this is what I majorly mentioned in the class. That is what the direct question, and I told you. Next thing is what? The punch marked coins were found all over India. Why they are called punch marked coins? Because they consisting the images, they engraved the images on the coins with the punch symbol. That is the reason they called as the punch marked coins. They found throughout India. They are the earliest coins of India. They are made up of silver and copper, not at all gold. And next thing is what? Obviously, all these features, I mean to say, these coins evolution, the first coins of India led to what? Monetization of the economy. Monetization of the economy. This is what clearly a direct question. So both statements are right. I mean to say what? What are the references from the above two statements you can make? Emergence of the urban life. Next thing is what? Transition of the money economy. Obviously, coins will lead to what? Coins will lead to monetization of the economy. That is nothing but what? Money economy. Coins will lead to what? No barter system. Barter system is replaced by the coins. That is the panchamarked coins. Nothing but what? Making economy as a monetization. It leads to monetization of the economy. Next thing is what? What is the second urbanization in India? Age of Buddha. The question is literally asking about the complete salient features of the age of Buddha period only. Also known as age of Shodasa Mahayana Padaya period. Also known as pre-modern age. So what is the main salient features of the age of Buddha? Nothing but the first coins, panchamarked coins. First language, first script, Brahmi script. Nothing but what? Second urbanization of India. First urbanization of India is nothing but Indus Valley civilization. This is the second urbanization of India. So question is very direct. Because of the coins which leads to monetization of economy, which leads to the prosperity of the trade. Ultimately it leads to what? Urbanization of economy. First urbanization, Indus Valley civilization. Second urbanization, age of Buddha. When is the third urbanization occurred in India? In the age of the Mughals. In the age of Mughals, India witnessed the third urbanization. So the question is very correct. I mean to say directly from the text only. Okay, no need to confuse. Next one, the 13th question. Which of the following temples have a Nagara style of architecture? I told you, I mean to say, Nagara style of architecture is nothing but the North Indian temple architecture. Okay, and the point here is asking what are the temples possess the Nagara style of architecture. Okay, obviously anything if you there in the North India, you can go for the option. So nothing but the Dashavatara temple of Devagar, which is located in UP, is nothing but what? It is located in North India. Obviously, it possesses the features of North Indian Nagara, no doubt. And if it comes to the details, if you are checking it, it is right or wrong. Nothing but what? This Dashavatara temple located in Devagar of Uttar Pradesh, built by the Guptans only. Okay, it is the temple located in the west direction, unlike the east direction. Okay, so it is located in Uttar Pradesh, so possesses the Nagara style. First option. Next thing is what? Aihole, which is actually built by the Badami Chalukyas. Very interestingly, the Aihole, the temple, Aihole is known as what? Aihole located in Karnataka, where Aihole is known as town of temples. Almost 72 temples were present at Aihole. And Aihole consisting of many temples, but the most important temple is Huchi Mallagudi temple. Huchi Mallagudi temple consisting the features of Nagara style, some features of Nagara style. Whereas the Badami Chalukyas temples, the Melagatti, Shivalaya, all Badami temples consisting not the structural temples. I told you, right? The Badami Chalukyas were built the temples at Badami, Aihole, Pattadakal. That's it. Pattadakal is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. If you go to the, let's go with the chronology. First, they built the temples at Badami. All are caves temples. Jaina temples they built, Buddhist temples they built, and Hinduism temples, especially Shaiva temples they built. So, Badami temples is the complete cave temple. So, nothing but you can eliminate this option. One option is easily eliminated because Badami consisting the complete cave temples built by the Badami Chalukyas. And next thing is we come to Pattadakal. Pattadakal is known as a cradle of Vesara style, also known as Deccani style. So Vesara style, known as Deccani style, which is very popular in central India, introduced by the Badami Chalukyas, which is consisting the elements of both Nagara as well as the Dravidian style. So point here is Pattadakal is the cradle of Vesara style, also known as the Deccani style. So definitely it is not the possible answer. You can eliminate the fourth option. Because completely, what is the style you found? Vesara style. And next thing is third one you easily know. So any with the fourth option you can eliminate. Any with the first option you can easily eliminate. Next thing is what? 2 and 3, 3 only. Very thing you are very much sure about what? You are very much sure about the third option. And next thing is you are doubt about the Aihole Huchi Mallagudi temple. Okay, very clearly told in the class, Aihole Huchi Mallagudi temple possesses the North Indian Nagara features. Okay, North Indian Nagara features. That is the exception, hence very specially mentioned. Okay, so answer is 2 and 3. Answer is B, 2 and 3. Okay, direct question only. Okay, but you go with the option is this is very easily, but when you are eliminating the second option, it is maybe you found difficult. But the exceptional thing is for about the Huchi Mallagudi Aihole temple is consisting the elements of Nagara features. It is clearly given in the standard text. Okay, next one, among the 4 main forms of existence of life recognized in Jainism, which one of the following is not included? Question is not. The question is asking about the not. Okay, Jainism, I told you, Jainism consisting about the given very important for the ahimsa. Given very important, they given very priority for the ahimsa, and everything they will see the life in everything, including the rivers, including the mountains, including the rocks, they see the life. So question is asking about the how many forms, what are the 4 main forms of existence of life recognized in Jainism? In how many forms the life was recognized existence, in which forms of the life they are asking about. So there are 4 forms. Okay, one is Deva, that is gods. Next one, Manushya, humans, because they are the living things. Next thing is Triyucha, animals and plants. And there is a 4th one is there. The 4th one is Narak. Narak is nothing but the hell only. These 4 forms of existence of life was recognized in the Jainism. These 4 forms of existence of life was recognized in Jainism. But if you know the question, even though you can answer. Why? Because the Yaksha Yakshini figures are belongs to what? The Yaksha Yakshini figures are belongs to Jainism, Buddhism as well as Hinduism. Who are Yaksha Yakshini? Nothing but the celestial nymphs. They are the celestial nymphs, just like Ramba, Uroshi, Menaka. And they are the demigods. Okay, they are the demigods, semi-gods. So obviously you can easily, all these options are related to religion, whereas this option, nothing but the celestial nymphs. Celestial nymph. This is what the odd one. If you do not have any idea about the question, please go with the option, which is the odd one you can pick up. So this is very respected to the creation of animals and plants. This is respected to the humans. I told you, any religion you take in the world consisting the Swarga Naraka concept. Hell and heaven concept there in every religion. No religion in the world consisting the, elements of without Swarga and Narak. So here the gods are nothing but the Swarg. Here is nothing but what? The Narak is nothing but the hell. So what is the odd option left here? Nothing but the Yaksha demigods. The Yaksha demigods are the odd option, which are nothing but the celestial nymphs equal to Ramba, Uroshi, Menaka in Hinduism. So even though if you do not have any idea with respect to the question, by eliminating, by choosing the odd one, you can easily get the answer. So Yaksha, Yakshini are nothing but the celestial nymphs. I told you in the class, at the RBI headquarters, in the RBI office in the Delhi, at the entrance gate, you will find the figures of Yaksha, Yakshini, who are the attendees of Kubera, who is known as god of wealth. We are discussed. Okay, so the point here is If you go through the odd one is nothing but what? Yaksha and Yakshini. They are the demigods. Okay, so that is a direct question. No need to confuse. Next one. Let's discuss about the 15th one. What is the 15th one includes? The Hali Salasya painting in the Bagh caves represent, no doubt. It is repeating what? The folk dance. Bagh caves were built by the Guptans, consisting the 9 caves. Within the 9 caves, presence of the mural paintings is there. And the 9 caves belongs to Buddhism only. Many people, according to my knowledge, maybe they go with the Buddhism. Buddha in meditative posture, but they are not talking the meditative posture. Yes, the Bagh caves which are present in the Madhya Pradesh, consisting the 9 caves related to Buddhism only, built by the Guptans. They are more materialistic, rather spiritualistic, consisting the mural paintings. But the point here is, they are asking about a peculiar kind of painting that is nothing but the Hali Salasya, which is mentioned in the cave number 4. This kind of painting was present in the cave number 4 of Bagh caves. This is what we discussed. In the cave number 4, the Hali Salasya painting is clearly there, which is mentioning about the folk dance, especially majorly representing the women. It is a direct question. It is a direct question related to the art and culture of Guptans. Okay, so that's what. Next one. Consider the following statements relating to the use of place value system in India. It is somewhat very, very deepest, but of course, this is what we discussed. I mean to say, this is mentioned, and many people actually they link this question to medieval India, but it is more about the, it comes under the art and culture art in the ancient part of India only. But the point here is, it is very, deepest of the subject. Even though if you are not answered, it may not surprise. Okay. So point here is, of course, for the first time, the place value system mentioned in the Mankani plates of Gujarat. Yes. There is a ruler called Dadda 3, who is a Gujarati ruler. Okay, the question is very too much here. I mean to say, he is very getting into the deep of the subject, not that much required for a general studies aspirant, UPSC aspirant. Okay, so that Manakani plates of Gujarat, yes, for the first time they mentioned about the place value system, and that too the ruler who issued this, this Mankani plates are nothing but Dadda 3. Dadda 3 is the ruler who issued the Mankani plates. Next thing is what? In the 9th century, place values become general in the inscription all over India. Yes, I mean to say, during this period, the place value system is introduced. In the 9th century AD, usage of the place value system became popular in India. Because it is a somewhat in a way. What is place value system? Nothing but the giving value to the number. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4. If there is only 4, 4 is the one only. 3 is nothing but the 34, giving value. If the 2, nothing but the 234, the place. If the 2 is here, nothing but the just 24. If the 2 is here, nothing but 234. And now the 1 is located 1234. So the place giving value to the number. The place is giving the value to the number, that is known as place value system. The place value system first time reference in the Mankani plates of the Gujarat by the Dadda 3. Next thing is after issuing the 6th century AD, by the 9th century AD, it is used by all over India. And it is almost spread to complete the Southeast Asia. Okay, the knowledge, the diffusion of the science and technological knowledge is even diffused to the Southeast Asia. Okay, all the 3 statements are correct. All the 3 statements are correct. Please cross check once with the UPSC final key. Okay, next one, the 17th one. Okay, consider the following statements about the archaeological findings in Harappan towns. There is a wide occurrence of spindle wheels in houses, but absence of spinning wheels. Okay, obviously spindle wheels are there, spinning wheels is not there. It is much later the spinning wheels occurred in India. Direct question. Next thing is weights and measures. The weights and measurement scales complete with the graduation have been discovered. Yes, they have the complete knowledge with respect to the weights and measures. Otherwise, the prosperity of the trade was not occurred. Otherwise, the first urbanization of India not witnessed. Any you are witnessing the urbanization, it must be with the sound knowledge of the weights and measures. Okay, without weights and measures for the ingredients, for the commodities, you cannot do the business with other people. Okay, so definitely you can say, I told you many sites in the IBC, you will find the yardstick, you will find the bronze scale, you will find the weights and measures, right? So obviously, the second statement, second statement is absolutely accepted. Next one, there are houses built largely with baked bricks around spacious courtyards with their own wells, bathing platforms and large rooms. Okay, yes, of course, this is what the popular. Next, which of the following inferences can be drawn from the above statements? What are the inferences can be drawn from the above statements? Include statement one suggests spinning was a labor-intensive activity done at home. Yes, obviously, I told you Mohenjo-daro, there is a presence of the woven cloth. There is a presence of the woven cloth at the Mohenjo-daro, clearly told. So, statement 1 is absolutely right. Statement 1 is absolutely right. The statement 1 suggests spinning was a labor-intensive activity done at home. Next one, statement 2 suggests that extent of scientific knowledge possessed by the Harappans. Yes. Then only I told you that standard weights and measures were maintained. 16 considered as the 1 unit. The legacy of the Indus Valley civilization, considering 16 equal to 1 unit, even extended to the Mauryan administration. 1 Karshapana is equal to 16 Mashakavs. And the legacy of Indus Valley civilization even continued in the medieval India. 1 Tanka is equal to 48 Jitals. What does it mean? The multiples of 16 considering 1 unit is even continued in the medieval India. Even the modern India before independence has 1 Ana. I mean to say 1 rupee is equal to 16 Ana. Charana, Barana, Atana, Ana, nothing but the 16 taking 1 unit. So that is what weights and measures knowledge is so much sound in the Indus Valley civilization. So that is what the second statement absolutely. Next, the third one, statement 3 suggests the emergence of a common property system. Absolutely no. If there is any common property system, why these people build the separate houses, separate bathrooms, separate courtyard? So with the common sense, you can eliminate the third one. Obviously, if you are commonly using, I told you, the great bath is used for the ritual bathing. The point here is what? He is asking for the common property system. How it is common property? When there is a separate house, when there is a separate courtyard, when there is a separate bathroom, they constructed nothing but what? It is not at all the common property system. So, third statement is easily eliminated. If you eliminate the third statement, you will get the, if you eliminate the third statement, only one statement you will get. Okay. So, now having the, even though if you don't have any knowledge with the two statements, if you get the third statement properly, common property system is there in the Indus Valley civilization. Why the people build the separate houses, separate bathrooms, separate courtyard? So, nothing but there is no common property system. If you eliminate the third option, only one option is left, nothing but the A only. Okay. Next one. Okay. Which of the following statements about the Eka movement and Bardoli Satyagraha is correct? Nothing but he is comparing the Bardoli Satyagraha with the Eka movement. Bardoli Satyagraha 1928, Eka movement 1920. Let's come to the options. Eka movement was throughout supported and organized by the Congress, while Bardoli Satyagraha was initially independent of Congress influence. It is given the reverse statement. Eka movement was initially supported by the Congress, but lastly it is completely taken by the Madari Pasi. Eka movement, which was took place in UP, in the upper part of the Uttar Pradesh, and it is led by a leader called Madare Pasi from the downtrodden section. Okay, so it is a reverse statement. So, so Eka movement was throughout supported and organized by the Congress. No, initially supported by the Congress, but in the later course of action, Congress completely left the movement. Next thing is our Bardoli Satyagraha initially dependent of the Congress influence. No, it is completely left by the, the sole leader, the Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel got the title Sardar, which was given by the women of Bardoli. And the latter it is again given by the Mahatma Gandhi. Okay. So that's what the importance of the movement. So he reversed the statement. He reversed the statement, which is absolutely not agreed. Next one. The Eka movement was led by the Talukadars of Awadh, whereas the Bardoli Satyagraha was a movement of landless laborers. Landless laborers. No, the Eka movement was led by the Talukadars of Awadh. No, nothing but they are the downtrodden section people. Not at all Talukadars. It is literally a kind of peasant movement. They are nothing but the landless laborers, just like the Bardoli Satyagraha. These Eka movement people are also landless laborers. They are the poor family. They are the poor people. Okay, so even B option is absolutely not right. Next one, Bardoli, it is a peasant movement. How can the Talukadars can fight in the Eka movement? That too, Eka movement is a downtrodden section movement, unprivileged class movement. Bardoli Satyagraha was a campaign against enhancement of the land revenue, while the Eka movement protested against the excessive extraction of the land. Absolutely right. This is what actually the reasons for the launching of the movement Bardoli as well as the Eka movement. Okay, so Bardoli Satyagraha was a campaign against the enhancement of the land revenue. Britishers were enhanced the land revenue by 22%. Britishers were enhanced the land revenue by 22%, and that is the reason these people protested against the enhancement of land revenue. And ultimately, Britishers were constituted a committee called Broomfield Committee, which is absolutely against the enhancement of the land revenue, and it is successful movement. Next thing is what? Yes, Eka movement is protested against the excessive extraction of the rent. The upper class people of Uttar Pradesh extracted excessive rents from the landless laborers. That is actually reasons for the Eka movement. So the third statement is absolutely right. Next, the fourth statement, the Eka movement was located in Varanasi and Mirzapur districts, while Bardoli Satyagraha took place in Saurashtra. No. So point here is yes. I mean to say Eka movement was located in Varanasi and Mirzapur. Varanasi, Mirzapur located in the lower stretches of Uttar Pradesh. Varanasi and Mirzapur located in the lower stretches of Uttar Pradesh, but just now it was the Eka was located in the upper part of the Uttar Pradesh, very close to Delhi, the upper part of Uttar Pradesh. Next thing is what? Bardoli located in, if it is the Gujarat, this is what the Kutch Peninsula, this is what Kathiawar Peninsula, and this is known as Saurashtra. And Bardoli located here in the Gujarat region, Bardoli located here. This is not called as Saurashtra, this is called as Saurashtra. So that is what you cannot consider this movement. So the option is nothing but the third one, the C. Bardoli Satyagraha was fought by the against to the enhancement of the land revenue. Next thing is for the Eka movement was protested against the excessive extraction of the rents from the landless laborers. So direct to, this is what the direct question. They are asking literally what are the reasons for the movement. Okay. So and the remaining statements were given just to give you the honey trap, just to make you confused. Okay. Next one, the 19th one. Consider the following statements about the Rigvedic period. Again Rigveda. This is almost, I think, third question. This is almost third question is coming from Rigveda. No, it is also come from the fourth related to Rigveda. Almost fourth question, because the first one is Pleistocene about the river system. Next one about the Kshatriya Patni. Next one about the, about the rivers, Chenab, Askini, Bias and all. And this is the fourth one. Okay, irrigation from wells allowed agriculture to expand away from floodplains and river margins into Punjab and Haryana plains, obviously. So, irrigation from wells, yes, these are the first people who used the iron. That is what Vedic civilization, Aryan civilization is also known as what? Is also known as Iron Age civilization. They are the first people to use iron in India. So, by the use of iron, they started dig welling, and that is the reason they are not located only to the banks of the river system. They are even went away from the river system in order to make the irrigation from the wells as well. The first statement is right. Next one is what? Drought animal power was employed to draw water out of wells. Yes, animals were used in order to draw water from the wells. Next, which of the following information supports the above statements? So these two statements were supported by which of the following statements? Okay, evidence in the Rigveda mentions Ashrama Chakra, wheel, and Ahava, wooden pails for drawing water. Okay, evidence of the Rigveda mentions Asama Chakra. Yes, Chakra is there. Spoked wheel is introduced by the Aryans. Next one is what? Wooden pails. Okay, for drawing water. Obviously used. A kind of Chakra is used for the drawing of water. Of course, first statement is right. Next one, Rigveda mentions implements like Parusha, Kulisha, axe, and the Datras Rani, sickle. Simple, yeah. How the axe and the sickle were used for the irrigation purpose. Simple, right? Axe cannot be used for the irrigation purpose. Sickle cannot be used for the irrigation. So, second statement is absolutely not at all related for the irrigation. Asking about question is what? He is asking for the irrigation. Which are the following statements? So, these statements are supported by which statement? So, obviously, the second statement which is not related to irrigation is not at all supported the above statements. So, that is what axe and sickle is not at all used for the irrigation purpose. You can easily eliminate the second statement if it is present. Next thing is when oxen were used even before the Rigvedic period for ploughing and pulling carts. Obviously, I told you Indus Valley civilization people used the oxen and camel in order to draw the plough. Okay. The plough evidences were there, where in the Banavali terracotta plough was discovered. Next thing is what? In the Kali Bangan furrows have been discovered. Plough impressions were discovered. Even though there is no direct evidence of the plough, there is the related symbols with respect to the plough we have found at Kali Bangan as well as the Banavali. And next thing is what? They are asking about it. The plough was drawn by the ox as well as the camels in the Indus Valley civilization, which is before the Vedic civilization, Rigvedic civilization. So that is what the third statement is also right. So they used Indus Valley civilization, people used oxen. The Indus Valley civilization is much before the Rigvedic civilization. So the third statement is right? So nothing but what? 1 and 3 statements are correct, only 3 is not correct. 1 and 3. So one statement is correct, which is supporting the irrigation. The third statement, yes, ploughing and pulling carts were used for the wrong. So that's what. Okay, that one. Which of the following statements about the moidams built by the Thai Ahom kingdom inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site is a correct? So Thai Ahom kingdom, which ruled Assam more than 600 years. More than 600 years, from 1200 to I think from the 1826, they ruled Ahom. They ruled Assam by the Ahom dynasty. So more than 600 years, Assam was completely ruled by the Ahom dynasty. After the Britishers only replaced the Ahoms, okay, from the Assam. Okay, point here is moidams. This is what actually UNESCO World Heritage Site in 2024. I told you in the class, anything related to UNESCO World Heritage Site in the history, you must be recorded, you must be emphasized on it, you must be focused on it. Okay, so any World Heritage Site with respect to the history, definitely you have to focus. It should be more priority. I told you UPSC have the habit which is very in the limelight. They don't ask you immediately. They will take certain amount of time. After that, they will ask you the question. So this is given in the 2024 and it is in the limelight in 2025 and the question is asked very lately in 2026. Okay, so the question is discussing about what they acted as army fortress. No, they were recreation centers of the royals and the nobles. They were burial grounds of the royals and nobles. They were battle drill centers of the royals and nobles. Nothing but they are the burial grounds of the royals and nobles. Why this question is asked is because for the first time the UNESCO World Heritage Committee conducted the meeting in India. For the first time, the UNESCO conducted the meeting about the World Heritage Committee meeting was conducted in India in 2024. In 2024, when the UNESCO conducted World Heritage Committee meeting in India, this is the site got the UNESCO World Heritage Site. So this is what some speciality with respect to this site of the moidams which got the UNESCO World Heritage Site, and that is the reason they asked the question. We actually expected this question in 2025, but of course they given this question in 2026. Okay, so this is all about. One more question is there with respect to the Hilton Young Commission, which is more related to the finance. Hilton Young Commission was constituted by British in order to standardize the currency of the Indian rupee. So which is more related to the finance rather history, and that is the reason the Hilton Young Commission, which is actually dealt by the economic faculty. So that question is shifted to the economic faculty. Okay, so this is what about the history questions in the UPSC 2026 prelims. This is what the most possible answers. Okay, please cross check with the UPSC final key. Okay, that's what about the UPSC history questions. Okay, thank you.